There you go.
Yeah.
Cannot authenticate YouTube account.
Scout. Come here.
It looks like it is there, doesn't it?
Theoretically, yeah.
Hey, boy.
It says we're live right there.
Yeah,
I guess we are.
excellent.
How do I get rid of the preview? Okay. We should be good. Yep. We're going good. All right, there we go.
Excellent.
All right, hit it, Pat. Go get those checks done. And welcome to the Ranger Joe's Scouting Country Show here. And we're just getting a couple little things put together here. We hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Wonderful day. It is, I believe, the 29th of August, the year of our Lord 2017. And Miss Pat just put us on here. We want to thank all our friends on Facebook and on YouTube. And there we are. I see us here live. Let me make sure we're hooking and hooking there. Let's see. And on YouTube. And there we are. Yep, there. Okay, that sounded good. Right,
It's the right place and time,
right
right?
place and time. Okay. So, all right, Eric, how are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good.
All right, let's jump right into it here and see what we got going on the Ranger Scouting Country Show on the Dempsey's Resolution Fitness Hour. Let's talk about the importance of flexibility training.
Flexibility training, yeah, you know, it's something that nobody wants to do, but it's super critical, and especially as you get older, you know, mobility and just the ability to get up and move around without aches and pains and pulling muscles and stuff. A lot of that has to do with, you know, just being super tight, right? You got these super tight inactive muscles that they're just all crunched up, just ready to rip as soon as you try to do something even the least bit athletic, or, you know, even if you just try to walk across a room and you reach for a pencil, you could totally blow something really bad just by not stretching. So a smart thing to do, especially for older adults, is to really spend some time doing all kinds of stretches, stuff that's within your capability, you know, not super ninja yoga splits or anything, but just gentle stretches in all the ranges of motion, as many as you know. And there's plenty of different charts and references online for flexibility. And, you know, I teach flexibility for seniors and mobility drills. And that alone can improve your quality of life and your health, your range of motion, and your general ability to complete daily tasks. You know, super, super good at all ages, you know, but especially as you get older. And I know that's one of my biggest things that I have to work on now is mobility, range of motion, and flexibility. So
I have to work on motion, period.
yeah. So do your stretching. You'll feel better, and it will really improve your quality of life. So stretch, especially after, you know, do a light stretch before activity, but you really want to spend some time, put some time into it, you know, about 30 seconds per muscle group, per stretch. And after a, you know, hot shower, hot bath, a hot tub, sauna, when you're really, really warm and everything's relaxed, that's a good time to do gentle stretches. And you're trying to lengthen the muscle, right? Trying to increase your range of motion gently. Stretching should be pleasant. It should not be a torture session. Okay? So do it and be healthier.
All right. Sounds like winner on that. Going right into the psychological benefits of exercise. You and I were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah, psychological benefits of exercise are huge. Once again, the eternal student, I had to write a paper on it last night. Psychological benefits of exercise are huge. everything from stress reduction, treating depression, anxiety, um, all these different things like Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, Parkinson's, all have improved qualities. There's different markers that improve dramatically with an exercise prescription. Okay, and so all of these things, including self-esteem, self-confidence, and just the biochemicals that are the neurochemicals that are released. Dopamine. You know, helps control your serotonin, melatonin. All these different epinephrine, all this stuff that has all these different psychological impacts on your body, right? So it makes you feel better. It makes you, especially, there's immediate effects of exercise where it actually makes you feel better right off within the first, 10, 20 minutes. And so, you get the feel good stuff. And then long term, you get reduced anxiety, reduced stress, reduced chances of depression, and all kind of additional stuff. It's actually becoming more and more psychologists and psychological treatment centers are starting to include exercise as part of a treatment program. So it's becoming a more and more popular thing in the psychological field. So that just shows you that there's pretty heavy impact. There's enough evidence out there now in science that shows it can't be ignored anymore. There's a definite correlation between exercise and positive mental health. Okay?
Absolutely.
So do your exercise and your brain will feel better.
And you'll feel better.
That's
You'll
it.
feel better about everything on the ketogenic diet. Now, does that have anything to do with the ketone effect?
Yeah, ketogenic diet is
Okay.
the new rage.
The reason I'm saying that is that I actually remember my dad, I guess it was the Atkins diet or something like that, back in the early 70s, was going on a diet or something. He had to lose like 20 pounds or something like that. And I remember he talking about the ketone effect.
Yeah, the ketones. Well, what that is the ketogenic diet is a high-fat, medium-protein, low-carbohydrate diet that there's all kinds of stuff out there. And basically what it does is it converts your energy, your fuel source from glycogen and glucose to ketones. Ketones are a fuel that's produced out of your brain that's used in place of when the glycogen stores are super low. And of course, it's been pros and cons. The medical community talks all kind of crap about it, says it's bad for you. Because of like when you start talking about ketoacidosis with diabetes and whatnot. This is a totally kind of different thing. It's not a negative thing. When you switch over from glycogen and glucose to ketones, the reality is it's not like a scary medical issue. It takes about 2 weeks, and once again, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right? There I was, and I did a ketogenic diet probably 25 years ago, and before anybody even talked about ketogenic diets, right? Back before it was cool, I did it, and I got a lot of results really quick as far as physique and body transformation stuff. You burn a lot of fat, you can maintain some muscle, and you get really lean really quick. But the strength training part of it was good because your fat's super high and your protein's pretty high and your carbs are low. But of course, I was in the Army at the time, and I had to do silly things like 5-mile runs every day. And the ketogenic diet was a complete disaster when you required events that needed, metabolic energy pathways that ran off of glycogen and glucose, right? The oxidative energy pathway, the aerobic energy pathway, right? So it was horrible for aerobic events. And so I ultimately had to get off it just for that. There was a lot of positive stuff going on the anaerobic side, but the aerobic side, I couldn't sustain it because, when your demands are that heavy in the aerobic category, it's really hard. So I would say if you're going to try it, if you want to try it, there are some positive things, but it's really an advanced carb cycling system where you're cutting down on carbs. If you want to do it long term, you may have some energy issues. Science is coming out more and more about the ketogenic diet, and they're using it for all kind of things like inflammatory things and things where autoimmune disorders, and a variety of different conditions where the ketogenic diet is proving to be very beneficial. So it is a rising star in the diet world. A lot of haters, a lot of supporters. The big thing is I wouldn't recommend it long term. It's really, really good. As with any higher fat, higher protein thing, carb cycling is really effective short term, but when you need the energy, you have to understand how carbs, glucose, and glycogen fit into the program, and they're not a bad thing when you use them right. So the ketogenic diet is basically just an advanced carb cycling concept where you're cutting carbs super low, like down to almost nothing, eating some vegetables, and you're eating in mostly, basically high fat. Your macronutrient ratio is high fat, medium protein, low carbohydrates. And the switch over from glycogen, a lot of people don't do it right. If you're eating a lot of vegetables and fruit, okay, that's actually still too many carbs. And real pure ketogenic stuff, the old school stuff like I did, you took in 0 carbs, like none, right? You went totally like high fat, medium protein, nothing else. And man, it was brutal. So, but immediate benefits were getting lean, getting strong, super good stuff as far as that. But once you had to run down the street, you're dead. So not good as far as aerobic capacity kind of stuff, running, any kind of endurance events, but okay for the anaerobic strength training kind of stuff. But super good effects on body composition. But the big thing is I would say use it sparingly, use it short term, give it a try if you want, and then just plan on controlling your carb intake. Because once you flex your carbs based on activity, you won't have any of these problems. You don't need to go to an extreme. Ketogenic diets are great for extremes, like if you got something going on in a couple days and you need to get lean now. A ketogenic diet is good for that. Long term. I couldn't hang on it long term. Some people say they can, but I question how ketogenic their ketogenic diet is when you say long term, because that means they're eating carbs. If you're eating any carbs, you're not truly, working off of ketones alone. Ketones is the fuel source, that's in the absence of glycogen. So anyway, if you want to give it a try, I'd say short term, give it a couple weeks. Takes about to truly switch over to ketone usage. Takes about 2 weeks. They have all these products now that they say miraculously, like instantaneously, you start burning ketones. I'm kind of skeptical about that. Don't really know about it. Not sure if I buy it because it takes about 2 weeks to traditionally do the transition from fuel sources, from the glycogen to the ketones kind of thing. That's gradually, weaning the carbs down to nothing. And you got to do that. You got to control it because, carbs are a good thing. They're a fuel source. They're what keeps you going. And if you don't manage it, you don't want carb crashes. Carb crashes are bad things. And so really be careful with it. Do it right. Do it slow and transition and then see how it works for you if you're going to do it. And then gradually switch back on, and the whole thing is when you go back to carbohydrates after the ketogenic thing, it just takes management. Do not eat a bag of sugar, when you're sitting on the couch watching football, so you want to keep your carbs. And another part about managing carbohydrates and carb cycling is carbs are dictated, your carb intake and your macronutrient ratio is dictated by your activity level. When you are less active, you get less carbs and you get more fat and more protein. When you're more active, you get more carbs, you keep the protein pretty high, and you cut back on the fats. Okay, so when carbs are high, fats are low. When fats are high, carbs are low. The protein is either medium or high all the time. And if you follow that simple step, you can't go wrong. Okay, so that's my take on the ketogenic diet. Short term, it's okay. Long term with cardio, not so much. All right.
Calcium and muscle contraction.
Yeah, everybody talks about calcium intake and how has to do with your bone health, with your vitamin D3 and osteoporosis, calcium. But calcium is critical for muscular contractions. Like your muscles can't contract. You can't do anything without calcium. It's not just bone stuff. It's like you cannot move without calcium because every time a muscle fires and contracts, either concentrically, eccentrically, isometrically, or whatever, it's using calcium because calcium is part of the actin-myosin bridging that causes muscles to actually shorten and lengthen, right? Calcium is a critical component in that whole sequence of events during a muscular contraction. So if your calcium's low, that means your overall movement and muscular contractions, your skeletal muscle is going to be hampered in its ability to contract. So much more capable, even more important reasons to make sure your calcium levels are on par, right?
Absolutely. And how about this is fascinating to me, the obesity rates projected for 2025.
Yeah, for 2025, they're already projected out in the 40 percentiles for like men and women. Like I think men is like 45 and women is like 43%. That's the
Wow.
projection for obesity rates, right? That's not overweight. Overweight will be even astronomically higher than that. So we're looking at, okay, here we are. 2025, things aren't getting any better. A 45% obesity rate in the country would be astronomically huge, right? That means like we're not talking just overweight, we're talking obese, like your BMI
We're
weight.
going to be a fat people.
Yeah, a herd of fat people ready for the slaughter, right? By whoever decides to do it, and that kind of stuff is huge. It's even more reason to start paying attention to your health and really, watching what you're doing. You need to start making lifestyle behavior changes and get your mind right. Start getting fit, and fitness. Not only will it, the obesity thing is a curable thing. It's not like, oh, there's nothing I can do. There's something everybody can do to be better. Every day in every way, you should strive to become better. Don't become one of the statistics in the 2025 obesity rate.
Absolutely. And now an exciting new thing that we want to announce here. Tell us about Nancy's massage services.
Yeah, Nancy. She's an old friend of mine. I used to work with her at a variety of places in town in Fort Benning as a personal trainer. She's a former bodybuilder, former Miss Fort Benning, and she is now switched over from the fitness side of the house to a licensed massage therapist. And so now she offers massage therapy, all the different types of massage therapy, and she is offering services right now. She's licensed in Alabama, and she's working on the Georgia license. So right now she's available by appointment, by referral, and you can check out her pages at Nancy the Massage Therapist on Facebook and on Instagram, I believe.
Well, I'm definitely going to check that out myself.
Yeah, we're going to try to get her out here to give some samples to Joe and Pat and see if he can coerce her into coming back out here on a regular basis.
I don't think that's going to be very hard. Yeah, because that's it's interesting too. Is that again, this is another example of people that know the human body and know what they're doing. And a lot of times I hear people. A lot of people they'll sit there and they'll say, "I just had a friend." I believe he was having something to the effect of what do you call it in the leg, sciatic nerve.
Oh yeah, sciatica. Yeah.
And was just really having problems. And he went to a licensed massage therapist, therapist that knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And literally walked out of there. Walked out
Absolutely.
And just said, "Wow, I just cannot." I cannot get over this, and it makes a big deal.
I'm a big fan of that. All the different things that increase mobility and flexibility and range of motion, because I've had a lot of experience with that. And also, you remember like that time, Joe, you came limping in and got down on the floor and did my special stretching maneuver.
I remember very well, and that was another example of. I was in really serious pain.
Yeah, that was good.
I could barely move, and I was, hobbling in here. And Eric, he told me to lie down on the floor, and I lie down, and he told me to get in a particular position, and he said, "Move this way." I moved that way, and I felt something pop and move my back, and I stood right up. And he'll tell you, I was in amazement. It's not like,
Yeah.
wow, I mean, it just stopped. I mean, it was, that I'm either cured or I'm dead.
Yeah.
I mean, because it just completely
But
stopped.
that's the benefit of like chiropractic, massage, therapy, any kind of therapy, physical therapy kind of stuff. When you're actually working the kinks out and you're getting everything back in alignment, because all your skeletal and muscular structures and your neurological structures, everything is supposed to be kind of linear, kind of like electrical networks and everything. All your bones, everything has a specific way it's supposed to be lined up, and it's the way it's supposed to be fit together. And the slightest twinge, the slightest tweak of a joint or a bone out of place touching a nerve or anything can really generate a lot of pain. Like the sciatica stuff. A lot of it is just simply, people are weak, people are tight, they're not stretched out, their muscles aren't strong, and their stuff is starting to deform with age or just through lack of use. And, that kind of stuff has to be avoided, because most of the pain that people suffer is not, some kind of thing where, oh, there's no cure for it. It's just a matter of, like, you're not doing the right stuff and you're falling apart, and now stuff's starting to hurt because it's getting out of alignment. And that's really what it comes down to. Once you exercise, start eating good, start stretching, all of that kind of stuff kind of dissipates away. And, there's certain things that, like, I have some old injuries that are, like, not going to go away. And I have to deal with them. But other than that, really the typical aches and pains that most people have is all, you kind of bring that on yourself. And it's fixable, and you need to learn the solution to it instead of just popping pills, right? You got to go see a licensed massage therapist, go see a chiropractor, go see a physical therapist, see a corrective exercise specialist or an exercise therapy specialist like me, and we can use exercise to get everything back in alignment and stop the pain, so you don't have to take all these synthetic drugs, right? We want to avoid the synthetic drugs and start eating like broccoli and stuff.
That's it.
Back to broccoli, right?
Back to broccoli.
Remember, real food and activity will really, a lot of people, there's a lot of new programs and a lot of new outlooks coming nowadays where they're talking about exercise is medicine, right? Exercise, and I add, exercise and food is Mexican, not Mexican. Medicine. Wow. I do like my Mexican food, though, I'll tell you that. Me and Abby love.
I can attest to that.
See, I must have El Vaquero on the brain, because
Yes.
I'm thinking of, oh man, they got some great chow. But yeah, so my verbal typo. Yeah, so we're talking about exercise is medicine, right? And I add in the food and the exercise combined is even better medicine, and doing all kind of getting back to the roots. These. Regular food back in the day was not called organic. It was just called food. Basically like stuff your grandparents eat was just called food. Now it's like super expensive organic stuff that you got to buy special. That just shows you the decay of our society and where we're at. So get back to eating local grown, and better homegrown food, local farms. Get the stuff, basically the unprocessed stuff. If it's unprocessed, there's a really higher chance that it's going to be much better for you. If it's processed in any way, comes in a package, got all kind of artificial ingredients, forget it, right? You want to minimize the intake of that and maximize unprocessed, whole, real foods from local sources. That's the best option. Life dictates what goes on, so you do the best you can, but if you can kind of keep the percentages in the right amounts, you'll do okay. Stay active, and remember, it's not just aerobics and cardio you need weight bearing and resistance. That means grab some weights, start slinging some weights, and if you need help with how to do any of that, you can contact me at eric@dempseysresolution.com, or you can text or call at 706-573-4236. 706-573-4236. Website is dempseysresolution.com. And you can hit me on Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or Google Plus or any of those websites. Look up Dempsey's Resolution Fitness or Eric Dempsey on any of those sites, and you should be able to find me. And follow, like, subscribe, and share. And check it out. I got tons of free stuff for you. Stay out of trouble, eat your food, and do some exercise, and everything will be okay. What do you think about that, Joe?
I think that is good advice.
Stay healthy.
Absolutely, stay healthy on that. So what's going on with you personally? You're getting ready to graduate with another degree?
I'm about halfway through my second bachelor degree, and my bachelor degree is a Bachelor of Sports Science in Strength and Conditioning, of all things, right? And about halfway through that, I got about 8 months of GI Bill funding left. I don't know if I'm actually going to get to complete the degree or not, but I'm going to be in school for about 8 more months, taking all kind of great classes on strength and conditioning topics, and because that's what I do for a living, so I want as much education as I can. And I also encourage all veterans to use your post 9/11 GI Bill to the maximum extent. I am using every month, every minute, every dime of it because I earned it just like everybody, all the other veterans earned it. Use it, get out there, don't let your benefits fall apart, and because if you don't use it, the stuff expires, right? And
Absolutely.
you don't want that stuff to expire because you worked too hard serving your nation to earn it. So I'm using mine, and I tell you what, it's like it's great stuff, but I'll be glad when it's over too, because I type in papers and doing stuff. It's like I think I've done, I'm training professors now online, so it's kind of ridiculous.
That's one of the there's so many ironic things that go through education is that you can actually be a professor at Columbus State University working in the education department, teaching individuals who are working to be certified as teachers.
Right.
And when they complete your classes that you teach them,
right,
they are then certified as teachers and go out and get a Georgia teaching certificate.
Right.
You don't have to have a Georgia teaching certificate to teach them that stuff. And I actually know, recently I knew of a professor who had been teaching teachers to become teachers for 7 years.
Yeah.
And retired and went to work. He went to work part-time in a high school, and they said that he was not qualified because he did not have a teaching certificate.
That's funny. Yeah, and that's funny too because a lot of the when I was briefly looking into the professor angle, they told me with my master's degree that I had all the qualifications. I just needed to get my master's in education, and I was like, yeah, I don't think that's happening. And then they're like, well, you can get the postgraduate certificate of education. That's only half of a master's degree. I was like, yeah, I'll skip that one too, thanks. And, it's like I'm all done with all that. So that totally turned me off on that. I'm not getting any more ridiculous things. Get degrees so you can just show up and work somewhere.
Well, we'll have to have Miss Nancy come on the show.
I'm going to try to get her on here and or at least show up and give you guys a demo. And she's kind of shy when it comes to public speaking and stuff and radio broadcasts. But we'll try to get her on here at least to say hi, and we'll try to get her in here. And remember, it's for her stuff. It's Nancy, the massage therapist, on Instagram and Facebook. Look her up. Message her if you're interested, and she can definitely hook you up quick in Alabama. She does in-home, on-site. She'll come to your location, wherever you want. And she's got a mobile table that she does. She's been working out at some of the CrossFit gyms in the Phoenix City area, and she can come wherever you need her to go. And check it out, give her a holler, and I'm going to try to get her out to the Iron Garage in Salem and start fixing up some people out there too.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to go ahead and close out today. Ready to go back on the show on the Dempsey's Resolution Fitness Hour. Catch me again next week at 1 p.m. here on our show. Well, thanks, Eric, and give everybody a phone number for you.
Yeah, 706-573-4236. 706-573-4236 or Eric at Dempsey'sResolution.com.
You go on YouTube, he's got about 400 videos plus on there, and those are go and watch those for free. And of course, Eric also does self-defense training, martial arts training, handgun, and personal defense training also.
All kinds of great stuff for you.
All kinds of good stuff. So thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week. So
all right.
Bye, everybody in Facebook.
Take care.
Bye, everybody in YouTube land. Take care. Bye-bye.